people think the hardest part is building an empire. Machiavelli would tell you the real danger begins after you start building it, because the moment you gain money, power, and influence, people start watching you differently. Some will admire you, some will use you, and some will quietly wait for you to make one mistake. Before you build your empire, you need to understand the danger Machiavelli saw coming. You spend years grinding in silence. Nobody notices you. Nobody questions you. Nobody's watching. And honestly, that's the easy part. Because when you're small, you're invisible. You can move, fail, and rebuild without anyone paying attention. But the second you start winning, the game changes completely. Machiavelli understood this better than almost anyone in history. He watched princes rise to power and then completely destroy themselves, not because they were weak, not because they lacked ambition, but because they never prepared for what success actually brings. They thought the climb was the danger. They were wrong. The climb is just the entry fee. The real test starts the moment you reach the top. Because success doesn't just bring rewards, it brings exposure, it brings eyes, it brings people rethinking their entire relationship with you. Some quietly deciding you're now useful to them, others quietly deciding you're now a threat to them. And if you're not ready for that shift, your empire won't fall because someone attacked you from outside. It'll fall because you never saw the danger building from inside. So today, we're breaking down 7 brutal truths Machiavelli left behind. Lessons about what really happens the moment you start to rise, who you need to watch, what you need to hide, and how to build something strong enough to survive even without you standing there holding it up. This isn't motivation, this is protection. Stay until the end, because tip number 7 is the one that decides whether everything you build actually lasts. Let's begin. Number 1. Control yourself before you build your empire. Before you build anything outside of you, Machiavelli believed you had to build something inside of you first. Most people skip this step completely. They chase money, status, followers, deals, anything that looks like progress, while the person making all those decisions is still reacting instead of ruling. And that's the trap. You can win resources long before you win yourself. You can gain power over a room long before you gain power over your own temper, your own impulses, your own mouth. And when that happens, everything you build sits on a foundation that can crack the moment pressure hits it. Think about how most downfalls actually start. It's rarely a competitor who destroys someone. It's usually the person themselves. One moment of losing control, one insult they couldn't let go, one decision made in anger instead of calculation. Machiavelli watched this pattern over and over in the courts and cities he studied. Rulers with armies, wealth, and loyal followers still lost everything because they couldn't manage their own reactions when things didn't go their way. Here's the part that gets missed. Self-control isn't about suppressing everything you feel. It's about timing. It's about knowing that a reaction released at the wrong moment costs you more than the insult that triggered it ever could. A ruler who explodes in public isn't showing strength. He's showing everyone exactly where his weak point is. And people remember weak points. They store them. They wait for the moment those weak points become useful. This is why the strongest people you'll ever meet often look the calmest in situations that would break someone else. It's not because nothing bothers them. It's because they learned, often the hard way, that control is a weapon just like ambition is. A person who can absorb an insult without flinching is far more dangerous than one who fires back instantly, because nobody can predict what the controlled person is actually planning. Building an empire without building self-control is like building a tower on sand and hoping the wind never comes. The wind always comes. Someone will provoke you. Someone will disrespect you. Someone will try to get a reaction out of you just to see what you're really made of. And how you respond in that exact moment often decides more about your future than any deal you'll ever close. Machiavelli's advice here wasn't about becoming cold or emotionless. It was about becoming strategic with your emotions instead of ruled by them. Feel the anger, feel the frustration, but decide on your own terms when and how it gets expressed, if it gets expressed at all, because once you react without thinking, you've handed the outcome to someone else. You've let another person's action decide your next move instead of deciding it yourself. Every person who has ever built something lasting had to master this first. Not the marketing, not the money, not the network, themselves. Because the moment you can't control your own mind under pressure, everyone around you can find a way to pull your strings, even without you noticing it's happening. Master yourself first. Number 2. Never let success make you careless. Here's something Machiavelli understood that most people learn far too late. Success is more dangerous than struggle. When you're struggling, your senses are sharp. You check everything twice. You question every move. You stay alert because you have no other choice. But the moment things start working, that alertness starts to fade. Deals close easier. People respect you more. Doors open without you pushing as hard. And slowly, without noticing it, you start to relax in places where relaxing is exactly what gets people destroyed. This is one of history's most repeated patterns. Leaders who fought their way to power through discipline and sharp instincts often lost that same power through comfort, not through a single dramatic failure, through a slow drift. They stopped double-checking. They stopped questioning the people around them. They assumed their position was secure simply because it had been secure yesterday. And Machiavelli saw this drift as one of the most predictable causes of collapse. The problem is that success feels like proof. It feels like evidence that you've figured something out, that you can finally ease off. But success is not proof of permanence. It's proof that your current approach worked in this particular moment, against this particular set of conditions. Conditions change. Competitors adapt. New threats appear that didn't exist when you were still climbing. And if you're not watching for them because you got comfortable, you won't see them coming until it's too late to respond. This is why the most dangerous phase for any rising person isn't the struggle. It's the plateau right after the first real win. That's when the guard comes down. That's when people stop asking hard questions about their own decisions because everything feels like it's finally working. And that exact mindset is what opens the door for the mistake that undoes everything. Machiavelli's warning wasn't to live in constant fear. It was to never confuse comfort with safety. The two are not the same thing. A person can feel completely safe while standing in the most dangerous position of their life, simply because success has a way of making danger invisible. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't knock. It waits quietly for the moment you stop looking for it. Staying sharp after success means keeping the same discipline you had before anyone was paying attention to you. It means still questioning your decisions, even when everyone around you is telling you that you've made it. It means treating every win as a checkpoint, not a finish line, because the moment you treat it like a finish line, you stop running, and everyone still in the race passes you without you even realizing the race is still happening. The people who last aren't the ones who win once and coast. They're the ones who win and immediately ask what could take it away. Then close that gap before anyone else finds it first. Number 3. Watch what people do when you start to rise. There's a strange thing that happens the moment you start winning. People show you who they actually are, whether they mean to or not. Machiavelli spent a huge part of his writings studying this exact shift. Not what people say when you're struggling. That part is easy. Everyone is kind to someone who isn't a threat yet. He studied what changes the moment you start rising, because that's the real test. That's when masks slip. That's when you find out who was actually with you and who was just waiting near you until you became useful. Watch closely and you'll start noticing patterns. Some people get quietly distant the moment your success becomes visible. Not hostile, just distant. A little slower to respond. A little less enthusiastic about your wins than they were about your struggles. That distance is information. It's telling you something about how they actually see your rise, even if they'd never say it out loud. Others do the opposite. They suddenly appear closer than before, more interested, more available, more complimentary. And while some of that is genuine, Machiavelli's advice was to stay alert here too, because closeness that only shows up after your rise isn't loyalty. It's often positioning. People aren't always drawn to who you are. Sometimes they're drawn to what your rise can now do for them. Then there's a third group, the ones who watch in silence, offering neither warmth nor distance, just quiet observation. These are often the most important to pay attention to, because their reaction tells you the least on the surface and the most underneath it. Machiavelli believed silence during someone else's rise often hides calculation. Not always malice, but always calculation. They're deciding something about you, and you usually won't know what until much later. Here's why this matters so much. The people around you during your climb are not automatically the same people who deserve to stay around you during your rise. Circumstances test loyalty in ways comfort never can. A person who stood by you through nothing has proven very little compared to a person who stands by you unchanged after you gain something they could exploit. This is uncomfortable to accept, especially with people you've known a long time. But Machiavelli's world was built on this exact discomfort, the understanding that power reveals character faster than almost anything else. It's easy to be good to someone who has nothing you want. It's much harder to stay the same towards someone once they have something you could take. So when you start rising, don't just enjoy the wins. Watch the room. Watch who gets quieter. Watch who gets suddenly warmer. Watch who stays exactly the same. Because that information will tell you more about your future than any amount of success ever will. And it will tell you who's actually worth keeping close once the climb gets higher. Watch closely, always. Number 4, choose the people around you carefully. Once you understand how rising changes people, the next lesson becomes obvious. You cannot afford to be careless about who stands near you. Machiavelli believed that a ruler's strength was often judged not by his own decisions alone, but by the quality of the people he surrounded himself with. Because those people shape what information reaches you, what warnings you hear in time, and what blind spots quietly grow around you without your knowledge. Choose wrong, and you won't just lose an ally, you'll lose visibility into your own risks. The mistake most people make is choosing their inner circle based on comfort instead of value. They keep people close because those people are familiar, easy, agreeable, not because those people actually add strength, honesty, or protection to what they're building. Comfort feels good in the moment, but comfort has a cost, and that cost often shows up later when you needed someone to tell you a hard truth, and instead they told you what you wanted to hear. Machiavelli was blunt about this. He believed flatterers were one of the most dangerous groups a rising person could tolerate. Not because flattery feels bad, but because it feels good, and things that feel good are exactly the things people stop questioning. A flatterer doesn't warn you when you're making a mistake. They agree with the mistake, smile through it, and let you walk straight into consequences you could have avoided if someone honest had spoken up sooner. This doesn't mean surrounding yourself with people who criticize everything. It means surrounding yourself with people who tell you the truth, even when the truth is inconvenient. People who care more about your long-term position than your short-term comfort. That kind of loyalty is rare, and it's worth far more than a crowd of people who only ever agree with you. There's also a difference between people who are useful and people who are trustworthy, and Machiavelli believed a wise person learns to tell them apart quickly. Some people bring skill, connections, or resources, but their loyalty bends toward whatever benefits them most. Others may bring less obvious value on paper, but their loyalty holds steady even when the wind shifts. Knowing which is which and knowing how much weight to place on each is one of the sharpest skills a rising person can develop. The people around you aren't just company, they're your early warning system, your reputation, and often your greatest vulnerability, all wrapped into one. A weak circle can leak your plans, misjudge threats, or quietly work against you while smiling to your face. A strong circle can catch problems before they become disasters and tell you things nobody else is brave enough to say. Choosing carefully isn't about trusting no one. It's about trusting the right people for the right reasons and staying honest with yourself about which category each person in your life actually belongs to. Choose wisely, always. Number 5. Never show everyone what you're capable of. Here's a lesson most people resist until life forces them to learn it. Your full strength is not something everyone deserves to see. The more people know about what you're truly capable of, the more they can prepare for it, counter it, or use it against you. Full transparency might feel honest and open, but in the world of power and rising influence, it often works against the very person practicing it. Think about it from the other side. If someone knows exactly what you're capable of, your full skill set, your real resources, your actual limits, they know exactly how to plan around you. They know what to avoid provoking, what to imitate, and where your edges are. But if they only see part of what you can do, they're forced to guess, and guessing creates hesitation. Hesitation, more often than not, works in your favor. This isn't about lying or pretending to be something you're not. It's about pacing what you reveal. A wise person doesn't hide their skill out of shame. They hide it out of strategy, because once your full capability is known, it becomes a fixed reference point people measure you against, compete against, or defend against. Keeping some of it unseen keeps you flexible. It keeps your next move harder to predict. Machiavelli often pointed to how rulers who revealed too much too soon lost their advantage before they ever needed it. If everyone already knows your ceiling, they stop being surprised by you. And in a world driven by perception, surprise is one of the most valuable assets a person can hold. The moment you're fully predictable, you become far easier to plan against. There's also a quieter reason this matters. When people don't fully know what you're capable of, they tend to treat you with a certain caution. Not fear exactly, but an awareness that there might be more beneath the surface than they can see. That subtle uncertainty often earns more respect than open displays of ability ever could, because certainty breeds comfort, and comfort breeds carelessness in how people treat you. This doesn't mean hiding your value completely or refusing to show results. It means being deliberate about what you reveal, when you reveal it, and who actually needs to see it. Not everyone in your life has earned full access to your capabilities, your resources, or your next move. Some relationships call for full honesty. Many situations call for restraint. Holding something back isn't weakness, it's control. It's understanding that your capability is not just a personal trait, it's a strategic asset. And like any asset, it should be managed carefully instead of handed out freely to anyone watching. Number 6. Understand why success creates enemies. This might be the hardest truth in Machiavelli's entire philosophy to accept. The more you succeed, the more enemies you naturally create, even without doing anything wrong. Most people assume enemies come from conflict, from direct harm, from clear wrongdoing. But Machiavelli saw something deeper. He understood that success itself, simply by existing, creates friction with people who feel threatened, overlooked, or diminished by comparison. You don't have to attack anyone to become a target. Rising above a certain point is often enough on its own. This is uncomfortable because it feels unfair. You worked hard. You didn't harm anyone to get where you are. And yet somewhere along the way, people you never crossed start treating you with quiet resentment or open resistance. Machiavelli's explanation for this wasn't cynical. It was simply honest about human nature. People measure themselves against others constantly, whether they admit it or not. And when someone near them rises sharply, it forces an uncomfortable comparison that not everyone can sit with peacefully. Some people respond to that comparison with inspiration. They see your rise and use it as fuel for their own. But a significant number respond with resentment instead, because your success becomes a mirror reflecting back what they haven't achieved yet. And resentment, left alone, doesn't stay quiet forever. It often turns into subtle sabotage, distancing, gossip, or resistance dressed up as something else entirely. Understanding this changes how you interpret opposition. Not every enemy earned that title through something you did to them directly. Many earned it simply by watching you grow while they stayed still, and choosing to blame you for the gap instead of closing it themselves. Machiavelli believed a wise person doesn't waste energy being shocked by this. They expect it, prepare for it, and refuse to let it slow their momentum. This also means you can't judge your path by how many people support it. Widespread agreement isn't proof you're doing something right, and resistance isn't proof you're doing something wrong. Sometimes resistance is simply the natural cost of visibility. The higher you climb, the more people there are below you with a clear view of exactly how far you've gone, and not everyone processes that view kindly. None of this means becoming paranoid or assuming everyone around you secretly wants you to fail. It means accepting a simple, uncomfortable fact. The price of rising is friction, and the price of visibility is scrutiny. Both are unavoidable the moment you stop being ordinary in the eyes of the people around you. Machiavelli's advice wasn't to shrink yourself to avoid this friction. It was to expect it, understand where it comes from, and stop taking it personally. Because the moment you understand that success creates enemies as naturally as fire creates heat, you stop being surprised by opposition and start being prepared for it instead. Number 7. Build an empire that can survive without you. This final lesson is the one Machiavelli considered the true measure of lasting power. Not how high you rise, but whether what you build can stand once you're no longer holding it up. Most people build around themselves. Every decision runs through them. Every relationship depends on them personally. Every system only works because they're actively present, actively managing, actively pushing it forward. It feels like strength while it's happening. But Machiavelli saw this structure for what it really is: fragile. Because the moment that one person disappears, whether by choice, circumstance, or time, everything built around them starts to collapse with them. True power, in Machiavelli's eyes, wasn't about being irreplaceable. It was about building something strong enough that it didn't rely on one person being irreplaceable at all. A ruler who built systems, trained capable people, and created structure that could function independently left behind something lasting. A ruler who built everything around personal control left behind chaos the moment they were gone. This is a hard shift for anyone rising through ambition and personal drive, because so much of that rise depends on individual effort. You pushed, you grinded, you made the calls, and it worked. But the very thing that got you to the top, total personal control, becomes the exact thing that limits how far what you've built can actually go and how long it can actually last. Building something that survives without you requires a kind of humility most rising people resist. It means training others well enough that they could replace you if needed. It means creating systems, not just relying on instinct. It means letting go of the idea that everything has to run through your hands to be done right. That shift feels uncomfortable, almost like giving away power, but Machiavelli understood it as the opposite. It's how real power multiplies, instead of staying trapped inside one person's limits. Think about anything that has truly lasted throughout history. It was never built by one person doing everything forever. It was built by one person laying a foundation strong enough that others could carry it forward. The individual eventually stepped back, faded, or disappeared, and the structure remained standing anyway. That's the difference between building an empire and simply building a role that only exists as long as you personally fill it. This is the real warning hidden underneath everything Machiavelli taught. Rising is hard. Staying disciplined after success is harder. Watching people, choosing wisely, staying guarded, and accepting resistance, all of that matters. But none of it means anything long-term if what you build can't outlive your daily presence in it. The strongest empires were never about one person standing at the center forever. They were about one person building something solid enough to stand long after they stepped away from the center completely. Build to outlast, always. So there it is. 7 warnings hidden inside one of history's sharpest minds, and every single one of them still applies today, whether you're building a business, a reputation, a following, or a life you're proud of. Machiavelli never taught people to chase power carelessly. He taught something far more useful: how to survive power once you actually have it. Because rising is only half the story. Staying, protecting what you've built, and making sure it lasts long after the excitement of the climb fades away. That's the part almost nobody prepares for. Control yourself before anything else, because a person who can't manage their own reactions will eventually let someone else manage their downfall instead. Never let comfort replace discipline, because the moment you stop watching for danger is usually the moment danger finally shows up. Pay attention to how people act once you start rising, because that behavior tells you more truth than words ever could. Choose your circle with care, because the wrong people can quietly cost you everything the right people would have protected. Hold something back, because full exposure only makes you easier to predict and easier to counter. Expect resistance, because success without friction almost never happens, and taking that friction personally will only slow you down. And above everything else, build something that doesn't collapse the moment you're not there holding it together, because that's the real difference between a temporary win and a lasting legacy. None of this is about becoming cold, ruthless, or disconnected from the people around you. It's about becoming aware of how power actually works, aware of how people actually behave once stakes get higher, and aware of what it really takes to build something that survives contact with success instead of being destroyed by it. If this video gave you something worth thinking about, don't just scroll past it and forget it by tomorrow. Hit like right now, so this reaches more people who need to hear it before they start their own climb. Share it with someone you know is building something right now, because this could save them from a mistake they don't even see coming yet. And if you want more lessons like this, sharp, honest, straight from history's most brutal thinkers, subscribe to the channel, because this is exactly the kind of thinking we break down here every single time. Machiavelli didn't just study power for the sake of power. He studied it to protect the people brave enough to chase it. Now you have that same protection. Use it wisely.